Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end, because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below, because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson 127, There is no love but God's. This is one of the most important lessons in the whole course. It tells us later on that if we achieve the faintest glimmering of what today's lesson is all about, then we will advance in measure beyond space and time. If we are able to grasp even the tiniest bit of this idea, there is no love but God's, we are going to experience an unimaginable new reality, a new awareness of what it truly means to walk in a world of unity where we are one with all of creation and with God. Let's read today's lesson. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Perhaps you think there is a kind of love for this, a kind of love for that, a way of loving one, another way of loving still another. Love is one. It has no separate parts and no degrees, no kinds nor levels, no divergencies and no distinctions. It is like itself, unchanged throughout. It never alters with a person or a circumstance. It is the heart of God and also of His Son. Let's talk about it. This is really talking about two kinds of love. There is the love of the ego, which really isn't love at all. And then there is the love of God. This section is talking about the love of the ego, what the Course would call a special relationship, in which we choose to love some and exclude others. There are no exclusions. God's love is all-embracing, and that is called a holy relationship. Love is literally the heart of God, and we are the heart of God as well. We are God's child. When we are truly walking with God, experiencing our oneness with all of creation, then we too are able to love all people, all places, all situations and circumstances without any reservations. Now, I want to be very clear. This does not mean that we take the locks off of our doors and we just welcome every stranger into our home. No. We need to practice discernment. We can love people without needing to be in contact with them at all. Certainly, we are called to be God's miracle workers, but that's going to look different for different people. We all have different talents. Some people will simply give their money to organizations that are trying to make a difference in the world. Some people will donate their time. Some people will exercise their love by being out and about and simply smiling at that stranger on the street. There are many forms that this love can take, but we do want to remember that love is boundless. There's so much more to learn in today's lesson. Let's read on. Love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. He does not see that changing love must be impossible, and thus he thinks that he can love at times and hate at other times. He also thinks that love can be bestowed on one and yet remain itself, although it is withheld from others. To believe these things of love is not to understand it. If it could make such distinctions, it would have to judge between the righteous and the sinner and perceive the Son of God in separate parts. Let's talk about it. I'm having a terrible time doing the video today because I think someone must be building a house somewhere. I literally hold my breath while they're hammering so that I don't have a massive change in posture between the breaks in the video. So I have two parts of me. My ego self is saying, shut the F up. And my God mind is saying, this is happening to teach you something, Arlene. You are meant to love that person, whoever they are, even though they are inconveniencing you today. So I'm going to continue practicing love That noisy person must really need it today because I'm sending them a lot of love. Let's talk about this paragraph. If we're thinking with our human mind, we think that love changes, that we can fall madly in love with someone and then they do something that we don't like and now we fall out of love with them. That literally is the romance story for many people. It was mine at one time. We never fall out of love. It makes me think of this time that I went over to this beautiful spot here in Mexico, just south of here, called Yelapa. It's like an island because you can only get there by boat, or if you happen to have a very rugged 4x4. But there are no roads that lead into there. Everyone walks everywhere. It truly is like a little island paradise. And you have to hike up the mountain. At the top, there's a huge waterfall coming over the top of the mountain down the rock face into this beautiful little lake. It's always a test of endurance to get in that little lake and swim across to the waterfall. I have a wonderful picture of myself and a group of friends standing under that waterfall. We're all smiling, but in truth, we're all thinking, hurry up and take the picture, we're freezing, so that we can swim back across that icy little lake, get out into the sun and get warm. The point of the story is that we could be standing under that waterfall and be saying, give me some water, I'm dying of thirst. And many of us are like that. We think that we have no love in our lives, when in fact we're standing under a waterfall of love. It's pouring over us all of the time. All we have to do is open our spiritual eyes so that we can see it. We can drink it in. We don't ever need to thirst for God's love. If we're trying to get it in human form, we will always be disappointed. Everyone eventually lets us down. I know that I have let people down in my life. That's one of the things that I had to forgive myself for. All people eventually let us down, and we let others down. None of us is perfect. We all get it wrong sometimes. We need to forgive ourselves and forgive others so that we can truly open our hearts to God's love. Love cannot judge. As it is one itself, it looks on all as one. Its meaning lies in oneness, and it must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial or in part. There is no love but God's, and all of love is His. There is no other principle that rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. Its wholeness is the power holding everything as one, the link between the Father and the Son, which holds them both together as the same. Let's talk about it. When we are living in God's love, we are experiencing unity. We no longer need to live in the world of duality, where we see good and bad, up and down, black and white. There is only this oneness, and the name of that oneness is love. Love and God are exactly the same thing. When we're living in this place of oneness, we no longer need to judge. Having been a professional judger, I had this incredible habit of placing people into maybe 3 different camps. There was the camp of, I want nothing to do with you. There was the camp of, okay, I'll be nice to you, but don't get too close. And there were the people in my life that I wanted to hold close. That would have been my husband and my children in particular, and a few other very special people. I learned the hard way that when we do that, we try to hold on tight to people. They want to run away from us. We cannot hold on to anyone. We cannot place our hand in that waterfall, close it tight, and then pull it out and expect to have water in there. All we'll have is a few drops. But if we keep our hand in the waterfall of love, it will continue to flow over us. We will never run out. When we do that, we can stop judging. We don't need to put anyone into any camp. Yes, we do need to be careful. There are some people that are simply not good for us, but we can love them from a distance. We never want to withhold our love from anyone. I love how it says there is no other law but love. I think this might be a reference back to the Old Testament, where you had to behave in certain ways, or you would literally be cast out of society. Thank goodness we don't live in those times anymore, but we do have ways of casting people out. We do put people in prison. We do send people out of our lives. Families break apart. Parents disown their children. Children disown their parents. Things like these happen. This is not God's way. This is not how love operates. God's love is whole. God's love includes everyone. Let's keep reading. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can never be a difference in what you really are and what love is. Love's meaning is your own and shared by God Himself. For what you are is what He is. There is no love but His, and what He is everything there is. There is no limit placed upon Himself, and so are you unlimited as well. Let's talk about it. There is no difference in what you are and what love is. You are perfect love. I am perfect love. Everyone is perfect love. No one is left out. There is nothing that you could have done. There's nothing that I have done that excludes us from God's love. All of us are equal. All of us are loved. All of us are deserving. Every one of us gets to stand in the waterfall of love. That makes me excited. There is no love but God's. Let's keep reading. No law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well. If we listen to what the world has to say about us, there are going to be specific things that we need to do in order to qualify for the world's version of love. Advertising would tell us that we have to be beautiful, we have to be smart, we have to work hard, we have to be amazing lovers, we have to keep our bodies in tip-top shape, and the list goes on and on and on. One of my neighbors here was telling me that one of the reasons that they moved out of California is because they have 2 little girls, and they wanted their girls to grow up in a wholesome culture, which Mexico, by and large, is. Every culture has its flaws, but this is really a very lovely place for children to grow up. What frightened him the most is that some of his friends were telling him that when their girls reached grade 12, they all started to talk about getting cosmetic surgery for their graduation present. That is the world standards run amok. I'm not making a statement on whether a person should have a cosmetic surgery or not, but to think that grade 12 girls are living under that kind of pressure, that's what this is talking about. We do not have to earn God's love. And when we're walking in God's light, no one has to earn their love with us. Let's read on. Seek not within the world to find yourself. Love is not found in darkness and in death. Yet it is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and ears that hear love's voice. Today we practice making free your mind of all the laws you think you must obey, of all the limits under which you live, and all the changes that you think are part of human destiny. Today we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance towards its established goal. If you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you have advanced in distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Let us together then be glad to give some time to God today and understand there is no better use for time than this. This is one of the most important sections in the entire course, where it says, today we take the largest single step this course requires in your advance towards its established goal. What is its established goal? The goal of oneness with God and all of creation, and we can only get there by letting go of the thinking of the world. That, in a nutshell, is the established goal. One of the most powerful ways to get there is through the practice of forgiveness. We've already talked about this many times. We will talk about it many more times before the end of the course, because we cannot get there if we're holding on to a resentment of any kind, both towards ourselves and towards others. If you're holding on to anything, I would encourage you to make a decision today to let go of whatever you're holding on to. It will only hurt you and keep you from experiencing true oneness with God and all of creation. If we can grasp even the tiniest glimmer of this, we are going to take giant steps forward. So I encourage you today to really put this into practice, to meditate on it, to take today's practice seriously, to say today's mantra over and over and over again. There is no love but God's. Let's read on. For 15 minutes twice today, escape from every law in which you now believe. Open your mind and rest. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anyone who does not hold it dear. Withdraw all value you have placed upon its meager offerings and senseless gifts, and let the gift of God replace them all. Call to your Father, certain that His voice will answer. He Himself has promised this, and He Himself will place a spark of truth within your mind wherever you give up a false belief, a dark illusion of your own reality and what love means. He will shine through your idle thoughts today and help you understand the truth of love. In loving gentleness, He will abide with you as you allow His voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind, and He will bless the lesson with His love. Let's talk about it. We are being asked to withdraw from the laws of this world, from the thinking of the ego. Let it go. None of the world's lies are true. We can let them all go. Let go of the rules, the expectations, the pressure, the worry, the anxiety, the upset, the fear. None of that is real. The world has a real stranglehold on some of us. This is telling us to let it go. We don't have to live that way anymore. We can move over into the waterfall of love and just allow that water to beat down on you, blessing you, comforting you, keeping you safe in God's loving arms. We can call to God knowing for sure that He will always answer. This is such an important part of the lesson. I love the old Beatles song. In times of trouble, Mother Mary calls to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. We don't need to cling to the ways of the world. We can let them go and move over into God's loving arms and just rest a while. In loving gentleness, the only way that we're really going to get somewhere is by resting with God. He abides with us. And when we are resting, we open our ears, we open our hearts to hear His message of love. Let's read on. Today, the legion of the future years of waiting for salvation disappears before the timelessness of what you learned. Let us give thanks today that we are spared a future like the past. Today, we leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered, and we raise our eyes upon a different present where our future dawns unlike the past in every attribute. Can you imagine this? A future dawns unlike the past in every way, in every shape, in every form. This tells me that we have wonderful things to look forward to. Anxiety comes from worrying about the future. My heart goes out to any of you who have a hard time with this. If we can remember to stay rooted in today, that we are safe in God's loving arms, we have nothing to worry about. Everything is taken care of. Everything always works out exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Then we will be able to live without fear. That is my prayer for every single one of you. And when we do this, God blesses us with His love. Let's remember to give thanks for this. We don't need to keep repeating our past. We don't need to take the mistakes of yesterday forward into today and tomorrow. We can let them go. If there's something in your life that you're feeling you need to go back and correct, please do that today. Phone somebody. If you need to say sorry, say sorry. Take responsibility for your part of the situation. Choose to love this person, even though in your human mind you see them as being wrong. That's okay. They don't need to take responsibility in order for you to forgive them and choose to move on. Choose to live in love, no matter what. Let's finish today's reading. The world in infancy is newly born, and we will watch it grow in health and strength to shed its blessing upon all who come to cast aside the world they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Now are they all made free along with us. Now are they all our brothers in love. We will remember them throughout the day because we cannot leave a part of us outside our love if we would know ourselves. At least 3 times an hour, think of one who makes the journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he comes to mind, give him this message from yourself. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine's and everyone's. Would you like to think of someone right now? I'll say this last part as you think about this person. I'm just going to pause for a minute and you can put their name in the blank. It can be anyone, someone who you're feeling really happy with or someone that you're not feeling very happy with. Let's just send them a blessing. Let's send this all around the world. I bless you with the love of God which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's. Let's talk about our practice for today. We are asked to do 2 15-minute practices, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, where we read or listen to today's lesson and do that last practice where we bless a specific person, saying the blessing, I bless you, blank, with the love of God, which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's. And we are asked to do this practice 3 times an hour. That's every 20 minutes. So once again, I would suggest that you put this into your phone so that you remember to do these practices, no matter where you are. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell others about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? I'm not sure what's in that drink, but that's a huge bag of sugar on the ground. Bless that video with the love of God, which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's. Have a blessed day full of love, my friends. I love you.